registrations of another email ID, but also you'll also have to add another phone number. So you can add your parents' phone number, your friends, or anybody. Usually they do not send messages on the phone. It's only through email. So make sure that the email ID you will be registering with valid. That's the only thing, Ashish. Is there any other question?
Yeah. So other question was that what if somebody fails the foundation course? So is there an exam for the foundation course, and if somebody fails, what happens then?
Okay, so the exam that we're going to be, so our the foundation course exam is something that's personal, related to any of the it's about how you have been studying in the last 2 months and how you have performed in the last 2 months. That's it. But when it comes to the INSAT exam, you have to make sure that you get a minimum of the percentage that the government of India decided. So that is not out yet. Because of the lockdown, it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be mentioned on the website, but right now due to the lockdown, they have not really mentioned about the aggregate marks. Of course, what I can do is send you a link of the other things that they have put in. But for the INSAT exam, I think there's another question that what would be the minimum? There is no minimum that has been decided yet, but they have given you. You can say the way they're going to mark you. There's no negative marking, but we have mock tests. So I would suggest and also advise, please do take the mock test for you to understand the pattern, the difficulty level. And again, the other question was that
and just to add on, so like Komal mentioned, see, there are no minimum marks required in the exam, but as the government has clearly mentioned, so they are giving for now 2,000 people will be eligible for the scholarships. Out of that, 80% are UG, and so basically 1,600 people will get $3,500 per year scholarship. That's what is mentioned on the website. So around 2,000 people. So really,
correct.
It is about top 2,000 people. Whether you get 80%, you're in the top 2,000, or if you get 60%, you could still be in the top 2,000.
No.
So that's not mentioned yet, right?
No, yeah, that's not mentioned yet. So we have fee waivers, all right. So if you, for example, the government says that if you get above 80%, then you get a 100% scholarship. If you get somewhere between 60 to 80, then you get a 50% scholarship. Or if you get something between below 50, then you have to pay the full fees or something like that. So we have fee waivers. So obviously, because you guys are getting trained on a daily basis, the probability of you getting, the 100% scholarship is much more higher than a person who does not know what is going to come in the INSAT exam. So you are getting trained for it. So my request would be that please do take these please do take the classes very seriously, and the INSAT exam also is because it was not there earlier. If this is introduced newly, they're going to be very strict about how the scholarships are going to be given. It's not just on merit basis what you got in your 10th and 12th, but it's also going to be your INSAT exam. So I really, I urge you to please study well. You have just one more month left. There is no change in the dates of INSAT exam as of now, and I wouldn't give you any fake promises that it might extend or it might postpone, or we don't know anything right now. But yes, the last date for registration is 15th, which is the day after. Make sure all of you please register yourselves on the Study in India portal, and you will
Komal,
receive an email.
Question.
Yes.
Yeah, one question is, some of these folks are asking, some of them have gone back to, let's say, their own country, right? So yeah. What will happen? Let's say if I'm in Bangladesh or if I'm in Afghanistan, how can I take the INDSCT exam? Where will I be able to take? What will happen?
Yes, so the confusion arises there, Ashish, because initially it was decided if the students are in India, then there are two centers, one is in Delhi and one is in Bangalore. So the students who are already here from Bangladesh, Nepal and Afghanistan, those students will be given centers in Bangalore, and that's when they will be dispersed and asked to write the exam. But now that this due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government hasn't really decided how they're going to be conducting the online exam, which is not yet decided. So I wouldn't want to comment on that right now. But if there would be an update, I would surely send an email to everybody and let them know. I think we're also active on the WhatsApp group, and I hope everybody is also there on the group. If somebody is missing out, please add them as well so that we can discuss about whatever any update that comes from the government.
अभी कॉल नहीं करना
there is no update as in how it's supposed to
अभी कॉल नहीं कर फोन काटता
nothing has
फोन काटना है कि नहीं से क्लास चला ले
update will definitely let you know.
Yes, of course. So Ritika is asking, will it be computer based? Of course. So many times we have told you computer based. There's a mock test also available on the Study in India portal. On our Step Up portal also, there's a free mock test available exactly on the same pattern. So yes, it will be computer based. And one more question, somebody asked that what if I want to go back? Is there a possibility I want to go back to, let's say, my country? Is it possible now?
Now, of course, it's not possible. I think up to the 30th of April, we don't have any flights that will be running, and we will get to know tomorrow. I think, as all of us know, we are going to have a speech by the Prime Minister. We'll be knowing by how many days is this lockdown going to be extended. We're still not sure, but those students who have gone back to their countries, I'm going to send you an email regarding what steps you guys have to take when you're going to be coming back from your country. Because right now, any foreigner, any student who's living in a foreign country will be coming back to India. There will be rigid rules for them, not just by the government, but also by the university. So a detailed email will be sent to you tomorrow regarding the same. And for now, the students cannot travel out or even come back. There is no transportation available, as you all know. Plus, students who are living in the hostels, kindly just stay in the hostel. Do not panic. We'll let you know about any information that we get from Study in India or from the government in terms of travel or anything else.
Okay, and Komal, if let's say they have some questions, how can they reach out to you? Is there an email ID or a number where they can reach out to you if they still have more questions?
Yes. So what you can do is send me an email on admissions ID, which I'll post on the group now. You can use the admissions ID. Or what you can also do is, you can reach out to us through the group, the WhatsApp group that we have created. And any questions, do feel free to ask. And we're always available in terms of any questions that you have. So so I don't think that should be an issue. You all can get in touch through WhatsApp group or even email IDs. Any of our email IDs. We'll share the email ID with you.
If somebody has applied for pharmacy course and then realizes that Jain University doesn't have a pharmacy course, what happens in that case?
And of course, I think the students should have initially known that we do not have the course. Now that you all are here for the foundation course and you want to study the pharmacy course, then we don't have any other option but to choose another university for your scholarship. But now that you are here, I would suggest that you please go through the website and see which is the other course that you would likely, if you would be interested in some other course, which Jain University offers, and choose that as well. But if you're very adamant on studying pharmacy, then I'm sorry, but Jain University does not have any course related to pharmacy. Then I would suggest that you choose another university that has pharmacy in it.
Correct. But anyways, the preparation will help them, right? This foundation course, this preparation will help them for IND-SET, right?
Totally.
Great. So I don't want to take too much of your time, Komal. I mean, I want to thank you really for coming out here and asking, solving some of their doubts, because they had a lot of questions around the IND-SET exam process. And I would request you to share the email ID in the WhatsApp group so they can ask more questions there.
Okay.
But thank you so much for taking time out and spending and answering these questions.
Thank you. Also, I'd like to add, I think I see a few questions here regarding the FRRO. Guys, do not panic. Right now, we all know that the whole country, the whole world, in fact, is in a lockdown. For the renewal of your FRRO, please do not just send it and email the modified email ID. I'll post that as well on the group. Please send an email that you want a renewal. But otherwise, do not worry. Even the FRRO understands. But do send us a renewal email so that we communicate it with the FRRO and let them know that this particular student has requested for a renewal, and it will all be done through the software itself from our end. The only thing that you guys need to do is send us the document and an email to the particular email ID. I'll post that as well. And do not worry, there will be no fines that will occur. But make sure you send us an email, alright?
Yep.
Alright, thank you so much, Ashish. I really appreciate. I think there are many more questions.
Miss, I can attend any
Okay, guys, if
exam
you
in
have
Bangladesh.
food problems, please get in touch with the particular person, Mr. Ashish. He'll solve it for you. Can I attend the that exam in Bangladesh? Of course, you can attend the exam in any country you wish to. Bangladesh, Nepal, Afghanistan, yeah, Bangladesh and Nepal students, you can attend it from your country as well. No, we don't have PDS available at Jain University. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Ashish.
Okay, great.
And,
Thanks.
yeah, thank
Thanks
you
a
so
lot.
much, and all the best, guys. Please go through the videos, apply for yourself, and submit your application. Make sure you get a confirmation email from Study India that you have been registered for the scholarship. And all the best. 15th is the last day again. So make sure, if you've not done it till now, please sit down today. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes and complete your application. Thank you so much, Ashish.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Komal.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
साला खाली करे बाइक कर दिया
All right. So I hope this was helpful and some of your questions got answered. Like she said that Komal ma'am will share with you guys the admissions email ID on the WhatsApp group, so you can ask as many questions, any doubt that you have in specific, you can ask her there. And yes, do fill the form if anybody has not yet done, not yet filled the form. Okay, so let's get started, folks. Okay, so we were talking about ratios, right? So as I mentioned, ratio, if let's say in a class of 100 students, if let's say there are 60 boys and 40 girls, what is the ratio of boys to girls? It was 60 upon 40, which could further be simplified as 3:2. Okay, and a ratio, as much as simplify you do, as much as you multiply here, let's say by 100, you multiply here 100 as well, the value remains the same, right? Okay, now I want to move ahead and I want to ask you a question. Let's say if I say the ratio of money with A is to B is equal to 3:2. Okay, so let's say A is to B have a certain number of dollars with them, and I'm saying the ratio of the amount, the ratio of the dollars with them is 3:2. From here, can I say that A has $3 and B has $2? Can I say that? Okay, so a lot of people are saying yes, we can say that. Okay, that's incorrect. Okay, so that's wrong, guys. If I say that A is to B are in a ratio so that they are the amount of money they have is in 3:2 ratio, you cannot say that A has $3 and B has $2. Okay, you cannot say that. All you know is just the ratio. It could be that A has 30, B has 20. It could be that A has 60, B has 40, because 60:40 also is in the same ratio. This becomes 3:2 only. So therefore, every time if it's given that two numbers are in the ratio, let's say A is to B, you cannot say what are exactly those numbers. Okay, all you know is a relationship. But if you know one number, you can tell the other number. So for example, if I say the amount of money, let's say A and B have is in the ratio of 5:6, and if I know now that B actually has 100 rupees. So can we now say what is the amount with A? Can you tell me what is the amount with A? If we know A is to B has money in the ratio 5 is to 6 and I know B has 1800 as the amount. So what would be the amount with A?
3 से 15 से हाँ हाँ सॉरी 15 से हम गलती करते लिए 18 से 15 से 15 से 15 से
Yes, so people are saying 1500. That's absolutely correct. Okay, so this is the simple ratio concept. Okay, now another concept is also called as proportion. Okay, what that means is it means that if A is to B, A and B are in the same proportion as let's say C into D, right? This means A by B equals to C by D. That means AB and CD, let's say, are in proportion, right? So what does this mean? That means A by B equals to C by D. Okay. Now, if you have the value given, let's say A is 10, B is 12, okay, and C is let's say 240, okay, and somebody is asking you what is the value of D. Can we calculate that? Can you calculate what is the value of D from here? Okay, people are saying, okay, people are saying 288, some people are saying 248. 288, okay, yes. So that's how we can calculate. Okay, that is the concept of proportion. Okay, excellent. Okay, now also one of the things, okay, let me just clean this up. Okay, if I say there is also something known as unitary method. Okay, what that means is, let me just share my screen again. Okay, so what this means is unitary method means that, for example, if let's say if I say you cover 50 kilometers, okay, in 5 hours, okay, versus let's say this is somebody called X, okay, and then somebody called Y. This person covers 60 kilometers in 3 hours, okay. And if you were to compare, saying that, hey, who is faster? How can you compare that? Can you compare who is faster?
Yeah, obvious.
So what you simply do is you can actually calculate this, saying that, hey, 50 kilometers in 5 hours. So speed is equals to distance upon time. Remember, we did that already, right? Speed equals distance upon time. So 50 kilometers upon 5 hours. Okay, so that's nothing but your 10 kilometer per hour, right? So per hour basis, right? So that means this is your unitary method. Similarly, for 60, it will be 60 upon 3 equals becomes 20 kilometer per hour. So when you do it per unit, that means per unit, per hour, now you can equate these two things. Okay, now it is easy to compare. Earlier it is difficult to compare. Is 50 correct or 60 correct? You don't know, right? Let's say if this was, let's say 30, right? How do you compare? Again, no, you cannot do that basis on 50 and 30. But you know 50 by 5, this is actually 10. This is also 10. Then you can say they are equal. Okay, so all right. Okay, so before I come here, let me give you guys some simple questions. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so here's the simple question on the screen. Quickly do this, guys, so that we can move little fast.
Divide by saying the ratio of 3 is to 3 by 2 होते कभी आ जाते let the x and y type 3x plus y $2,200.
200 600 8 दूनी 1600 600 8 दूनी 1600 600 1600 ठीक है
तो इतना क्या लगे सोचते सही बात है लिखना 2 एक्स जोड़ 2 कहाँ जाए
Okay, so are we done with this? So again, this is very simple, guys. All we have to do is we are saying divide 2200 rupees and the ratio is of 3:8. So how we can do this is 2200 in the ratio of 3:8, right? Now when I say 3:8, we don't know what the exact number is, but if let's say this is 3x, this would be 8x, right? What we now know is that this number is divided into these two things, right? That means 3x plus 8x equals to 2200, right? Or 11x equals to 2200, or x equals to 200, right? If x is 200, this would be 600 and this would be 1600, isn't it? So you can say option 2, right? You could have done orally also without all of this is not required. You can see 22 is divided into 3:8. So 8 plus 3 is 11. So this total is becoming 11. Actually, it is nothing but 2200. So 11, but it is actually 2200. Meaning there's a multiple of what? There's a multiple of 200, right? 11 into, actually it is becoming 3 plus 8 11, but it is in reality it is 2200, meaning a multiplying factor of 200. So multiplying factor of 200 would go here and multiplying factor of 200 go in this. All right, so anyways, let's move ahead. Okay, now this is a good one. Okay, sometimes if it's given, let's say A is to B, the number of chocolates, the ratio of the number of chocolates with A is to B is 3:4, and the ratio of the number of chocolates with B and C is 3:4. So the question is, what's the ratio of A to C? Can we calculate this?
B equal to 3:4, B is to C equal to 3:4. What is the ratio of C? 4 is to B by B brother 3/4. B is to
Some people are saying option 4, 3:4. Some people are saying option 1, 9:16. Let's see if you can get this one. So we don't know actual values of A, B or C or D. Correct? I mean A or B or C at this point of time. All we just know is ratios, right? So what you want to do is you want to equate the two. So it's given A is to B is nothing but 3:4. Okay, and it's also given that B is to C is 3:4, right? So can I say A is to C is 3:4? Absolutely no. I cannot say that. Why? Because B here is 4 and B here is 3. See, it is actually not 3 or 4, right? That means this must be 3A, let's say this is 4A, correct? And B is to C must be, this could be 3B and this could be 4B, like that, right? So therefore these are not 3, 4 and like that. Now, for example, if I were to equate this 4 is to 3, right? If I have to equate this, how will I make them equal? Because actually the value would be same, right? The value is same. So if I have to make this equal to this or this equal to this, what will I do? So I will make it a number which is, remember LCM, same concept. So what I'll do is I'll try to make this as this. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll multiply, if I multiply here 3, and if I multiply any in the denominator, I always have to multiply the same in the numerator also, because if let's say one value is a by b equals to 3 by 4, if I multiply let's say 5 here, I have to multiply 5 in the numerator also, right? And as long as I do that, no problem, because then I'm not impacting anything in the ratio, because it would be nothing but 3 is to 5, 15 upon 20, which is the same as 3 by 4. That means you can multiply, right? But it will help us in comparing, right? So I multiplied 4 into 3, 12. So this would be 9. So that means now it actually becomes 9 is to 12, right? And B is to C is 3 is to 4. Now I have to make this equal to this one, but this has become actually how much? 12. So how can I make this also 12? Meaning if I multiply 4 here, and if I multiply 4 here, I have to multiply 4 here as well. That means it would be again 12, this would be 16. So basically, if I now compare, A is to B has actually become 9, 9, and this is 12, and B is to C is now 12 is to 16. So now it is easy to compare, right? Because now they are in the same format, right? B is both 12, that means A would be 9, B would be 12, and C would be 16. So the question is, what is the ratio of A's to C? So I would say 9 upon 16, correct? So which is option 1. Did everybody get it? Very simple this is.
I did not get.
So somebody is saying that explain again. See guys, simple thing. I said A is to B was given to us as 3 is to 4. Okay. And B is to C is also given as 3 is to 4. Now if somebody asks you what is of A is to C, you can't say 3 is to 4. Why? Because B is here 4 and B is here 3. But in reality, B's value should be the same, right? And which is fine, because here these are just ratios, right? These are just ratios, right? Ratio doesn't mean that B is 3 or C is 4. That means they are in the ratio of 3 is to 4. It could be 30, 40, 300, 400, 3 million, 4 million, anything, right? So what I need to compare now is I need to equate these ratios and make them same, right? Because B is same, should be same here only. So how can I make them same? So I could either make this one like that or that one like this, right? Same thing. So if I have to make this B equal to this B or this B equal to this B, I know one good thing about a ratio. That means if a ratio is A by B, K, if I multiply into this, KA upon KB is also same, NA upon NB is also same, and YA upon YB is also same. That means any ratio A is to B, if I multiply anything in the numerator, top and down, the ratio remains the same, meaning it will still be A is to B, no problem. So that gives us the flexibility of making this the same. So if I have to make, let's say, this B equal to this B, what I can do, I can multiply here 3. If I multiply 3 here, anything in this one, right? Anything I multiply in the numerator or denominator, I have to do the same, right? Both sides. Here I multiplied by 3, meaning I have to multiply 3 here also, correct? So this will actually become, A will become 9, this will become 12. Now B is to C. If I have to make this 3 equal to this one, now this is B is how now? This is 12, right? So I have to make this as 12. What will I have to do? I'll have to multiply this by 4. If I multiply in the numerator by 4, I'll have to multiply the same by denominator. That means now B has become 12 and this has become 16. So that means A is to B is to C. If you actually ask me now, it's become 9 is to 12 is to 16, correct? And now if somebody asks us what is the ratio of base to C, I'm saying it is 9 is to 16. Did everybody get it? All right. Okay, let's find out now the simple question. He says, which of the following is greatest? Can you tell which fraction is the greatest?
जेकर नीचा कम डी
सही बात है जगह नीचा सबसे बेसी कम से ग्रेटेस्ट
चला दो के डिफरेंस में सब दिए के डिफरेंस में
सब दुए के डिफरेंस में ना ध्यान से
ऊपर नीचा के वाला थी के मैनेज कर भी अनुसार
मतलब डिनोमिनेटर जेकर ले से तेकरे कहते ना वही बात तक कह रहा है साथ कंफ्यूज क्या करे इसमें ताले तू बता वो बता
देखिए ये मेन कथी है देखिए ये बी के वैल्यू 4 है ये बी के वैल्यू 3 है अब एना केला नहीं करती एहन कह देते कि दोनों के दोनों वैल्यू बी अथी बी के है ना तो एकरा दोनों के मल्टीप्लाई कर देते तो 4 तिया 12 हैं अब अथी लिखबी जना a by b लिखबी तो मान 3 by 12 लिख देलिए अब ये 12 लिख लिए तो एकरा तो 4 के 3 से गुना कर अथी 12 लिख लिए ना तो ये 3 से गुना करे पड़तो हैं एक रेशियो अथी करे के लागी आ सेम इहे क्वेश्चन है में ये फिर
should we discuss guys
ये फिर 12 है b by c तो अब 12 लिख लिया तो ये 3 छले तो ये 4 से
when you compare ratios right so imagine if my number is like this okay let's say if I say one number is 2 upon 7
तबरा b के कोन का
comma
b के कोन का
4 upon 7
12:16
comma
9:12:16
9 upon
तबरा
7
b के कोई मतलब नहीं है
so if somebody asks you which is the biggest fraction right so how do you actually calculate right how do you actually calculate
9/16
meaning all you do is you do the simple division right 2 and then you divide by 7 right and then what you do is
4 into 4
7 and then right 2 you have to divide so 7 into 2 is 14 correct I mean so basically you put point and this becomes 0 right this is how you go right correct so 7 into 2 14 and then 60 and then 7 8 56 right like this right point to something now we don't have to do all of that right we don't have to actually convert it into that format we can see when the base is same whichever number is bigger will be the biggest okay anytime you're confused with numbers like this guys don't worry take very simple numbers okay simply just take 1 upon 2 is one number and another number take 2 upon 2 is one number let's say 3 upon 2 this is easy to do right 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5 we already know 2 by 2 is nothing but 1 3 by 2 is 1.5 now for example you can check right which one is the biggest therefore you can make a inference that whenever the base is the same whenever the denominators are the same the biggest numerator that will be the biggest fraction okay like this right and similarly the other way around as well okay meaning you could draw like for example if let's say if you say you have numbers like let's say 9 upon 2 is bigger or 9 upon 4 is bigger or 9 upon 7 is bigger so when your numerator
तोरा पहले
this
आई के
is the
मिलावे
same,
पड़तो बीच के
right?
रेशियो हां
Now what will happen is that whichever is the smallest one will be the biggest. Are you getting? Whenever numerators are same, the smallest denominator, that number will be the biggest, because this will go into how much? 2 into 4 point something something. This will be 4 into 2 point something, right? So of course you can say this is the logic. Now what happens is when the numerators or the denominators are not same like this, but if let's say the difference between numerator and denominator is coming the same,
ई में 12 कौन जरूरी
okay?
लावे के तोरा
If you see numerator denominator difference is how much?
दोनों
2.
के गुना
Difference is how much? 2. Difference is how much? 2. Difference is how much? 2. Right? So that means if somebody asks you, they're okay, 13 by 11, comma 15 by 13, comma 17 by 15, right? Comma 11 by 9, which is the biggest fraction. Okay, you have to solve for this. Okay? So you can simply say, right, 11 into 1 point, how much? Now whatever your 2 is remaining, right, 11 has to go again here, right, 0.1 something, right? Whereas if you check here, 9
वही तरीका से
19
क्वेश्चन रही ना कि
point
दिमाग
9
के
19 20
सोचे
9
वाला नहीं दिमाग
2,
लगे वाला
because it's
क्वेश्चन दे
18,
है
right? And then 2 and then like that, right? So therefore I can say this one will be the biggest one. So in this case, whenever the difference is same, difference between numerator and denominator is same, right? You can check that the smallest denominator will be the biggest number. Okay, therefore this is the biggest one. Okay, understood? This was easy to derive, or otherwise you can just do simple some calculation, back of the hand calculation, and you'll be able to get it. All right?
उपयोग करे के
Okay.
तेनु नीचे तरफ ध्यान रखे
Next question.
कितने से गुना के लिए तो b 12 लिया
What must be added to each term of 4:9 so that it becomes 2:3?
ऑप्शन 17 by 15, 11 by 9.
what must be added to each what must added केनु आ गेलो 4:8
स्टोरेज फुल
so
हो
that it becomes
what must be added to each term of 4:9 so that it become 2:3.
a में 3 b में 4 c में 6 d में 8
काठी वाला